Hello.
Hello.
Today's video is made with the help of soundsmiths. Soundsmiths create original music and sound design in collaboration with some of the world's leading directors, brands, and agencies. Soundsmiths offer a range of diverse and extraordinary sample packs, deliciously chosen as the musical trends and tastes evolve. Soundsmiths have sent me some of their packs, and you guys will be able to hear just the quality that they're made with and how often I get to use them. But for now, let's crack on with the video. What's up, gang, and welcome to another episode of Inspired By, a series where we look at the musical trends, past and present, so that you guys can understand the techniques used and make better music. My name's Will, and I make a plethora of music under the moniker Hushchild. Today we're looking at Jelani Blackman. So I wanted to create a Jelani Blackman inspired track. I wanted to create a reimagining of his track, Hello. As you'll see in the video, I took a couple of liberties, but we kept it relatively the same, albeit changed the melodies somewhat. And really this is a lesson to create a minimal track that is focused around a vocalist. And guys, if you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, give it a like. Let me know in the comments what tracks you're still struggling to create or you want tips around. And if this isn't your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon if you want to find your way back for any reason and be notified of my future videos. For now, guys, thank you so much. Let's jump into it. All right, there we go, guys. So as I said, today we're looking at Jelani Blackman, and he is just skyrocketing here in the UK. Still not that many subscribers on YouTube, but following his Colours session and his interview with X-Ray magazine and the release of Hello, I really think that he's going to be a household name. So I wanted to reimagine a track once again, this time Hello by Jelani Blackman. Taking some liberties with some of the instrumentation, but a lot of it remains the same. Once again, I want to thank my sponsor, Soundsmiths, for sending over such crisp sounds. Pretty much all of the percussion and drums come from Soundsmiths, and they're almost identical to the drums heard in Hello. A nice, simple, easy one today that works really well, especially if you're looking to design a track around a vocalist or a storyteller. So let's jump into it. So one of the liberties that I took from Hello is sampling this instrument here, which is the flute that you can hear in the actual track. So I've just taken that first one shot and added a little bit of reverb there. And this is the pattern that we're left with. I really like that. I didn't EQ it or anything, like it's straight from the track. I took one shot. I've added a slight bit of glide there, so some of the notes glide into one another, but that's about it. So one of the first instruments I added on top of that was just this free plugin from Ample Sound, which emulates an acoustic guitar. And I've just added a little bit of EQ8 and again, a small piece of plate reverb. And that just works as a counter melody alongside this sample that I got from Splice, which I've just scooped out some of the low end there. Because I definitely wanted two plucked strings sounds to replicate what we heard in Hello. Even though it's not exactly the same, and I know we have that arpeggiated synth melody underneath, but if you go back into Jelani's back catalogue, we do have some of those kind of arpeggiated synth-like trap kind of melodies. So we're not worlds apart, and again, like I said, it's a reimagining, so we do take some liberties, but we do make sure that it would work with a vocalist in mind. So this is what we're left with these three instruments. And this sample here is slightly in the right pan, whilst this acoustic guitar here from Ample Sound is slightly left, with our flute being completely in the middle. After the introduction, I switch it up a little bit by taking out that plucked string, and I found a section in here. We could just loop that, and then we can have something like this without that plucked sound. That way we can just have a small introduction to the Ample Sound guitar above. So again, not playing all of the notes. So before we jump into any of the effects or anything like that, let's have a little look at the drum selection. And this is what the drums sound like on their own. These are all pretty much coming from the Soundsmiths sample pack. Apart from this little badger here, we just sampled a cup. Just that cup sample with a little bit of transient master to take out some of the harshness, some of the attack there. EQ8 to take out any low rumble, and again, a little bit of reverb. We're not working on any sends today. This was quite a lazy project, as you'll see when we get into some of the effects and risers and stuff like that. The kick is so lovely from Soundsmiths, and I really haven't done anything to it apart from add a little bit of transient master just to give it a little bit more punch and take out some of that boomy decay, and just add a little bit of Pro Q2 because of course we want it to sit nicely nestled with our 808. Something that I really liked that was in Jelani's track was this kind of riser pattern here, and we've just used the 2 cup sounds. Just hard pan left, hard pan right, and one plays the downbeat, one plays the upbeat in a string of 30-second notes with a slight increase to the automation volume there. And I coupled that with that Lex trap sample that we're all used to that is reversed. And then that just helps that little sample there and just adds, again, a little bit of ear candy, a little bit of differentiation before we jump into our new section of the song. So bear that in mind. If you're creating fills or anything like that, it can get a little bit monotonous, but something like this can really bring a little bit of life to the track. The hi-hats just playing on the downbeat. Nice and simple, lots of room for that little cup sample, that little clink that we have going. With the 808s already in C as it was in Jelani's track, with a little bit of glide as you can hear there. Underneath, the same as we did before in our Parsaloo track, doubled that up underneath Amp Designer, Sausage Fattener, EQ8, R-Bass to bring out some of those harmonic lines, and then a limiter and a little bit of Pro Q2 there to take out any external rumbles. So that way we're just bringing that volume up underneath our main 808, literally just sitting as it is, completely central. If we look at the levels here, this is where each of them sit. You can see that that saturated 808 sits much quieter than our main central 808. And again, as I always say, that's just to pull it out of those smaller speakers. Following this, we're just left with some of those nice atmospheric sounds that Jelani had in his track. So, Tucken 2. So I've taken this police siren sound and used it as a riser of some sorts from freesound.org. Just EQ'd there and stretched out. And the reason we stretched it out is because in some places, like I said, we're using it as a riser. As we go into this new section here, I've just brought in and made audible this little bit of soft vinyl. And I heard that in the back of Jelani's track, and I thought that was a really nice additive that wasn't in the introduction to the song. Just comes in for this new section here and this switch up that we have here. So everything together from about the midpoint sounds like this. Okay, slight change here. We got those little skippy hi-hats there. I've just plugged those in. They're not pitch shifted or anything. And then this is the first part of the song where we have a major change. And I'm just playing a different pattern on the flute here. And you can see from the automation that I'm just increasing that volume a little bit. And I'm also increasing the mix on the reverb that you might be able to hear there. And the same goes for that offbeat cup rhythm that we have there, just increasing the reverb again here, and then just bringing down some of the volume from the clap sound, and the clap is the only sample. We're not layering up any snares today. I'm just bringing down the volume for that part before we go into our main section so it doesn't become too harsh for the listener. And this is what it sounds like before we go into that drop. And it might sound a little bit minimal as we go into the drop of the song, and that's because it's really a track that is all focused around that vocalist, right? So we don't want it to be crazy with a lead synth line or anything like that. We want it to be super minimal, so the storytelling is the focal point. And then we're back into our main section. No guitars here. Have that riser and bring back those guitars. With the mixing, I just made sure that all of the levels sat respectively. There was a tiny bit of panning going on, and all our instruments were EQ'd. All of our samples were absolutely lovely, so there wasn't too much compression, and there was no side chain in this track either. On the master, all we have is a bit of a limiter just to squash some of those peaky dynamics, but that's completely it. And there we have it, guys, creating a simple track with the vocalist in mind, inspired by the works of Jelani Blackman. Nothing too crazy, and I think everybody watching this video will be able to create a similar track now. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know what you want to see in future videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.